All right, post game instant reaction. Man, tale of two halves. That's kind of sorry for the long but you can hear my voice. A lot of screaming at the television, a lot of frustration with the referees, and Coach Simmons kind of pointed it out, tongue in cheek. Appreciate that because I was here for the petty. um, Refs were god awful. But just quick recap. Everything really happened in the first half. 20-0. Uh, and literally, South Carolina State brought that thing back in like 3 to 4 minutes. It was eerily similar to what we saw in Celebration Bowl. I, for one, was looking like, yep, they're about to start throwing this ball deep. And FAMU kind of opened the game early, though. Xavier Smith hit him deep. As I mentioned, the refs, they was on that BS early. They hit FAMU with two targeting calls. Both turned out not to be worth a darn and were not actually targeting calls. And I was like, I'm not gonna bring that up because I know Coach gets fined if he talks about refs and other stuff like that. But that was some bull. But both times, again, the targetings they were nothing. Nothing happened. It wasn't close to targeting. But the refs erred on the side of caution in the first one. The second one, I that's when I kind of started feeling like this is getting egregious because you can start seeing where the refs were altering the game. To me, it just seemed like from my perspective the direction that the game was going into was being altered because of some of these calls. And some of them were warranted. Some of them were because we were going against a very good defensive line and we have very young offensive linemen. But some of them were bogus. It got pretty bad, especially in the fourth quarter. But South Carolina State's offense, they tried to establish a run, and just to make a long story short, they could never find a groove. Their whole groove was on big plays. I mean, they hit deep balls to their best receiver, and he kind of, I mean, not kind of, he mossed our corners. One of them, the quarterback, you can't argue with the position of the ball. It was a great ball. The other one, he just out jumps the guy. I mean, you can see why this guy is on the radar for some NFL teams. But again, that was all they really had all game. And going into the fourth quarter, it's 20-0. I know I posted on the FQ Family Twitter page like us letting South Carolina State hang around was going to be potentially detrimental, and I really wanted at least one more score, something to make it 20, make them have to score 3 touchdowns because if they had scored that last touchdown, kicked the field goal, they would have won by 1 point. Sorry, the Jackson State game's going on. Jackson State's about to win this game. FAMU offense early on was good. I mean, the offense was cooking. We looked good. The running game never truly gets into its own groove. Like it just never really, it never worked. And the running game, especially, like I said, the running game just never got into its thing. The passing game was solid, but again, we did have a major play taken away because of a penalty. It was like that. It just, if you were to go back and watch that game, to me, it's a forgettable experience as far as the second half. Our offense, it just wasn't clicking. But early on, the tight ends were getting in the game. Xavier Smith, Manigo, K. Dot, all those guys were really eating up the South Carolina State defense. And then we weren't. And especially the problem was those late interceptions from Musa. Man, can't have them. But at the same point, you can see where he made a quick read. He's trying to get rid of the ball, but it's to the same place, and the same guy intercepts the ball twice. So, uh, again, to be fair, he's trying to get rid of the ball and throw it on time. It's a timing route, but their linebacker was in a great position, and Coach Simmons even pointed out that was one of their best players. Uh, it just, again, you can hear the frustration. That's definitely the reason for the uhs and the ums, because again, this is a instant reaction. As soon as the game is over, as soon as the coach is finished, I do try to come on here and give it to you fresh. The defense for South Carolina State, they did nothing special until the end of the game. I mean, the fourth quarter was when South Carolina State did all their damage. They picked up a fumble that wasn't a fumble, that was later determined to be a forward pass. Again, these refs, they generated really good pressure, though. They did do that. And again, those two interceptions were the biggest things, were the big takeaways that I got from South Carolina State's defense. and Shador just threw off his back foot. But again, I'm not going to get overly upset with that. It was what it was. I don't like the 2 interceptions because the linebacker falls in his zone coverage twice, same zone, same place. That's going to be something another team does, and they're going to wait for Musa to throw that pass in that same place. Um, as far as FAMU's defense looked good all game, except for those 2 deep balls. There's nothing to talk about. But if we don't give away 3 deep balls in 2 games, we really hold 2 teams, one that is above average to being very inefficient and not looking very good. We also benefited from the fact South Carolina State's quarterback, he ain't that guy. He's not him. He's decent, but decent is about the best way we can put it. Like in the world of pizza, this guy would be Little Caesars, and we've seen Papa John's already. Papa John's is playing right now for Jackson State. That guy, he missed a lot of open receivers. I felt like both teams left a lot of points on the board. Part of my frustration as a fan, I felt like FAMU left a good 20 points on the field. I definitely I feel that. I feel like FAMU should have scored 40 points. I'm confident to say that. That's not a point of arrogance. If you think I'm arrogant, you probably know me that well. I'm not that arrogant about my program, but I feel like FAMU left points on the board. A good 20 points on the board. And especially if one of those points where we get one of those interceptions, I felt like we missed a little something there. The special teams was solid though. Special teams was solid all game. Punt game was strong. Field goal team was amazing. FAMU has the best kicker in Tallahassee, and you can argue with whoever you want about that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people who wear garnet and gold will take Jose in a second. But we did good on special teams. Back to the defense, though, I forgot to mention we had 2 interceptions ourselves. BJ Bowler gets an interception, hits the shimmy. We get another interception. I believe that was Courtney Cox. I could be wrong. It was number 2. It was number 2. It wasn't 12. But we really focused on stopping the run game. Like their running game was not happening. And it never caught on. Again, the only thing they hit us with was the deep ball, and then eventually we shade a safety over the top to shut that down. And once we do that, the game is pretty done. You would have liked to have seen that after the first deep ball to kind of continue to shade a safety over the top, just with the understanding that their quarterback's not the most accurate of guys. And it's not just because the kid sucks. It's also because our defense is getting pretty good penetration. Even after Isaiah Lane gets hurt, the defensive line looks really good. I was very impressed. Again, Isaiah Lane does get hurt. He tried to come back, but he ended up sitting out the rest of the game. And to me, there is a difference. You saw the difference as far as with and without Isaiah Land. It wasn't a huge drop off against that level of competition, but I like the idea of erring on the side of caution and allowing him to get healed, and maybe that extra 30 minutes to an hour of him not being bumped up against somebody else helps you for your game against Grambling for next week. Uh, Again, we had a lot of missed passes. Again, second half we looked lethargic. Seemed like we did try to run the clock a little bit more. And man, the refs were, in my opinion, though, that's part of the reason you leave the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. I have not seen that level of tomfoolery in a long time. Like it was terrible. A few of the times, especially in the fourth quarter, we had offsetting penalties. It was obvious. Yes, the FAMU athlete did make a mistake. He had a holding penalty, but there was also a clear face mask that was missed 2 or 3 times. That was clear as day. I mean, clear as sin. You're sitting there looking like, dude, there's a face mask. At the least, it's an offsetting penalty. At the most, it's a penalty against them. Like that was missed several times over. It seemed like just you could see the players got frustrated as well. I went online and said I really could be. You could miss me with these refs calling another game this season. It was that bad, and it was just atrocious. I just did not appreciate that level of officiating. That's just me. Some calls are right, some calls were good, but the penalty disparity between FAMU and South Carolina State should not have been that big. I mean, some of the penalty calls were egregious. Granted, yes, the FAMU player ran into the kicker. The kicker leaves his leg up there all day long. So Okay, if you don't give me a roughing the kicker, give me a running into the kicker. But when Fadul gets hit, can I not get a running into the kicker as well? I'm just saying some of this was just negligence at the least. Like it was just gross negligence as far as dude, you gonna hold that flag when it's just the home cooking must have been good because they must have had that special barbecue in your pregame meal. But I definitely took I won't say offense. I felt some type of way. There we go. I'm gonna modernize it. I felt some type of way about the penalty disparities between the two. Uh, again, it was just one of the big things. So my big takeaways from the game, I did notice we didn't run the pistol. We ran out of the shotgun the whole game, and that did not seem to work. It just we had like 3 or 4 big runs, but other than that, us having a 250-pound running back slide to the left and run the ball, it's not working. And we were fortunate that for South Carolina State, our receivers in the passing game opened up the run enough to where you could still middle and do that kind of stuff. But I would like to see us use some type of formation. It ain't got to be your pistol, but something that's going to let our running backs run downhill. That's just me. I felt like, and I don't just feel like we've seen when our running backs get ahead of steam and they're running towards the line of scrimmage, they're a problem. They definitely are able to move the guys that are in front of them. I've seen that. The other takeaway, the tight ends, we use them. I was pleasantly surprised, and I appreciated Coach Simmons. I asked him a question about it, the tight ends, not too long ago, a few minutes ago, and he was like, "They're part of our offense. We try to use them, but you know, when K Dot and those other guys are starting to see a little different coverage, we definitely try to highlight the tight ends a little more. And you saw that. I mean, really good play usage. Just, I mean, that screen to the tight end. I'm still smiling about that. That's one of the bright spots for me coming from this game. It's one of the moments I'm going to look back and say, okay, that was something good. That's something I appreciated. We also, again, we stayed in the shotgun almost the entire game. That was I didn't like that. We missed a lot of passes. Musa missed a lot of passes. I think he's going to go back and look at this film and be miffed. I think he's going to say that he should have hit a few more passes than he did. And I think all of us going to say that we missed about 3 touchdown passes because of either the ball went over the wrong shoulder, either the receiver went the wrong way, or Musa threw it the wrong way. Something happened. There was some miscommunication, and man, thankfully we didn't need those points. But against a different team, you might. I'm just going to leave that there. The coverage of the deep ball was terrible in the fourth quarter. I kind of wondered about it going into this game, and it peered its ugly head in the fourth quarter. The deep ball was there, but at the end of the game, BJ Bowler makes a great knockdown. We do get 2 interceptions, and yeah, just the late turnovers. Can't have that. Can't have that. Maybe either we got to run the ball in a different set or something, but constantly having Musa in the shotgun just tossing that rock like that, it wasn't it for them. Not against South Carolina State. I think you may be able to get that against Grambling because I think at this point that team has said 2 fingers. We're good. We're done. That's just me. You took the G from the boys and kind of made them look bad. Just my 2 cents, but I don't particularly believe that they're going to be quite as explosive. And I don't have faith in Hugh Jackson's offense. But again, the coverage of the deep ball, terrible. Penalty disparity was go back and look. South Carolina State penalties to FAMU penalties. I'm not one of those say the ref was cheating, but I look. The collections plate might not see me, but the prayer request cards will, because I definitely dropped a few choice words watching these dudes as far as some of these penalties that were and were not called. Run game was not effective, and Moose's got to do a better job taking what was given to him. Coach's words, not mine, but my eyes saw the same thing. So got to do that. Good fight, Alabama State. You're going to lose Jackson State. But that was kind of it's the reaction we got there. FAMU wins 20-14, and that is the most frustrating 20-14 victory I've seen in a long time. Just being honest, but you played a tough team, but you really you tried to, you and the refs. Woo, baby. That was not it. That wasn't it. That was not it. So big shout out to HBCU Digital Network as always. Today, if you notice, we're not the post game is not on HBCU Digital Network because the Black Techies are on right now. So I'm about to jump off. And if you're not watching the Black Techies, please check them out. They are on HBCU Digital Network. They're on the app. They're on the Facebook page, the Twitter page. They're on the YouTube. They're all over the HBCU Digital Network atmosphere. But the post game, just to make sure I got it to y'all and didn't forget to do it, I wanted to make sure I dropped it. But we will go tomorrow, 8:30, as always. Fangs Up podcast. We're going to talk about the weekend that was FAMU athletics. Kind of go back and spend a little more time talking about this game after I've had a moment to calm down and not curse and not be as upset as I publicly am. I'm not gonna lie. I'm mad about this game. I thought we were gonna do it better than that, especially when we had a 20-0 lead. I'm like, oh yeah, let me get like 2-3 field goals at this point, and I'm not gonna be too upset. But what I saw today, nah, bro. I'm not happy with it, but I'm glad for the win. And I feel like we did see points of growth and we saw things that we're gonna look to do better at. So that being said, for y'all that are watching, we're going to peace out on a good note. FAMU wins 20-14. But South Carolina State pull up a hell of a fight, boy. That was a good game at the end. If you're a Bulldog, we do send the dogs or keep the dogs at their house and went to your trap and took your trap. So, as always, y'all, thanks up.